Welcome, good morning, and I'm very sorry that our Cleveland contingent was a little bit late this morning. We almost ended up having to purchase an airplane to get here, but finally Wright Airlines did come through, and the plane did take off and land, which was more important to us. I'm Ron Ratner with Forest City, and on behalf of Forest City Enterprises, Forest City Dillon, and Millender Center Associates, I'm very proud and very excited to welcome you all to the groundbreaking for the Millender Center project. As you can tell, there are a lot of people here today who have been very, very important to us throughout the entire development process. It's been almost 3 years since our company has been involved in Millender, and it's been probably, 8 years since our partner was involved, or 7 years. And a lot longer than that our other real partner, the City of Detroit, was involved in this project. And we're very, very excited. We're excited for a number of reasons. In the first place, we're excited simply that the project we see as an example of what really can be done in a public and private partnership with all the various constituencies that make up a strong and vibrant urban area coming together to really make something happen. We're also proud that we were involved. I'm proud personally because it's been a project that I've devoted a lot of time and attention to. My wife keeps telling people when they ask where I live that I respond I live in Cleveland, she responds that I live in Detroit. And I'm afraid that that's the way it's been for the last couple of years for me. I'm very proud of that, however, because I'm very proud of the projects that our company has done in Detroit, and I'm very proud of the job that the City of Detroit has done. I'm also excited for another reason, and that's a reason that really won't be obvious to all of you here today for probably a year and a half, but which I hope will become obvious very quickly over the next 6 months as you see the physical project that we're groundbreaking for today take place. Millender Center is a very exciting development. It's exciting as a concept, as a marketing concept, as a design concept. The project will be a project that everybody can be very, very proud of. I'm not going to take very long. Obviously, you've all been waiting, and I know it's very cold. So without any further ado, I would simply like to introduce the people here who will make brief remarks. Seeing as we've made everybody promise I'll keep your remarks to 2 minutes, I'm not going to make any introduction that's very long, and I'll promise to keep my introductions down to 2 seconds. But the first lady I would like to introduce is Mrs. Louise Millender.
On behalf of myself and my family, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of the many people who have helped to make the Robert L. Millender Center a reality. I would especially like to thank Mayor Coleman A. Henry Hagood, and the Ronald Ratner family for their tireless efforts and undying faith in not only this project, but the entire city of Detroit. Bob believed in this city. If he was here today, he would say, "Thank you, but why me?" When Bob was picking persons to run as a candidate for the city of Detroit, he would often refer to me as saying, "the seed that one must pick and plant for this city." He planted many seeds in the city of Detroit. He picked the seeds by going up and down the streets and through the alleys and all the buildings of the city of Detroit to make sure that this seed that he chose, with your help, we planted. The earliest seed that I can remember he planted was John Conyers, the congressman that we first sent to Washington. Another seed that he referred to me was Robert Tyndall, the city council. Another seed was Richard Austin, the secretary of the state of Michigan. Further down the line, he often said, it's time that the city needed a stronger seed, a seed that so many of us could look up to today. And this seed that we selected was no more than George Crockett, the judgeship. Irma Hennison, the City Council, Miriam Mahaffey, and many more that's out here today that knew Bob for what he stood for. When it is time for the mayor of the city of Detroit, a black mayor, I must say, he said to me one morning, early as he always talked to me at 2 and 3 in the morning, he said to me, "Now Louise, it's time that we must plant another seed." This seed that I'm talking of today is a seed that one is needed for the mayor of the city of Detroit, Coleman A. Young. This seed he often referred to as the black-eyed pea of the pot. This pot, he often referred to me that the blacks are well known by this particular pea. This pea always stood out in the pot that had so much flavor. But today, it's a different seed being planted here today. A seed that is in the memory of my husband, which so many of us out here today love and really appreciate it, Bob Millender. Yes, Coleman, I would say, as Bob would say, let's do it.
Here. I'm always a pussycat at the table, Ratner. You know, not a problem. I'm delighted to be here this morning. I feel that the spirit of Robert Millender is so much alive in this city because he continues to live in the seeds that Louise talked about. The seeds that he planted in all of us are to test our mettle step by step to make sure that we grew stronger as we went along. That's the spirit of Robert Millender. And while we kick off this project today, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Detroit, I'm proud to say there was never a doubting moment in any of our minds that we would agree with the mayor and that we would move forward to launch the first beautiful project on this side in honor of a man who more than deserved that honor and who gave so much of his life to inspiring the rest of us to move on and get the job done. Whatever it took, whatever it meant, get the job done. That was the spirit of Robert Millender that I remember, and it's here present today in the breaking of ground for new horizons in the city of Detroit. To the family, let me say I love you. You more than remain in my heart as a symbol of the man that meant so much to me. Good God bless each and every one of you, because this is the beginning of a new day.
Thank you very much. I think you know by now that this project is an excellent example of federal, state, local, public, and private partnership. As you may know, it is over a $70 million project with about $33 million provided by the state of Michigan. And by the way, incidentally, Mr. Mayor, I can imagine what Ronald Reagan's going to do with that nickname when he hears it. We're just lucky that James Watt is no longer Secretary of Interior. But Mr. Mayor and Congressman Crockett, Conyers, Judge Keith, distinguished city officials, our friends from Cleveland, and most of all, Louise Millender. This project, first of all, I think stands as a monument to someone, Robert Millender, who I only met and knew very casually, someone who enjoyed being behind the scenes. And now he's up front, in the sunshine, downtown, in a growing, vibrant city. A project that began under one of his students. No, I'm not going to use those words. You can use them, I'm not. One of his students is now so proud, can step out of City Hall and look at what is happening in this city. A growing city, a city on the move. So I'm pleased to be here. I'm pleased that this will mean jobs, several hundred, construction as well as permanent. It means expanding a very important, significant tourism business in Detroit, which, as I think most of you know, even grew during the darkest hours of our recession, a recession we have not come out of yet, but there is some modest improvement. It means shopping, and it means housing. 4 goals are being served here, all of which are critical to Detroit and the state of Michigan. Now, later at a lunch, I'll have the privilege of presenting to Mrs. Millender a flag of the state of Michigan and a plaque, a tribute for the Robert L. Millender Center. But what I'm supposed to do now is to present a second set to Al Ratner, because it's going to go in the Millender Center when it is finally dedicated, I guess. But Mrs. Millender, I'll be presenting you with a set of these inside later. But now, I guess it's my privilege to present to the head of Forest City Dillon, and by the way, a Michigan State University graduate, to Al Ratner, with our best wishes and our thanks for your commitment to the state of Michigan and to the city of Detroit, and to the memory of Robert L. Millender for your energy and time. Our best wishes, a flag from the state of Michigan, and a copy of a tribute to be displayed in the new center when it is finally completed. Thank you very much, Al. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is indeed a wonderful day for the city of Detroit and for the Millender family. I'm sure that Bob would be happy to be a part of such a day. This beautiful development means a lot to our city. I agree with Mr. Ratner's assessment of Millender, of Renaissance. Nothing wrong with this city. About 8 more Renaissances wouldn't fix. Then they'd have 8, they could talk about us 8 times as badly or as much. But all up and down that riverfront right now, there's a literal explosion of activity, ranging from the newly emerging housing down there by the Free Press, between the Free Press and Joe Louis, all the way out to Woodhaven, where again, Michigan and the state are involved. Greyhaven, that's Garwood, Greyhaven. That's where you have some very fine middle income housing going up. Fine restaurants, new developments. Millender Center's significance to me is it's a transition. It's a pipeline that transfuses the energy that is floating up and down that river, across Jefferson Avenue to the rest of the downtown area, to Bricktown, to Greektown, to downtown, and straight up Woodward Avenue. It's the beginning of an explosion all over. On the river, you find housing that's going in the neighborhoods. I don't think anybody could accuse Greyhaven of being downtown. Belle Isle Bridge is not downtown either. Building all up and down that riverfront. And we're going to do more. I want to congratulate everyone involved in this. Certainly there's credit to go around the state, the federal government, most of all the perseverance of the people of this city. And I want to congratulate Louise and the Millender family. I was admonished before I came up here to remind you not to forget to support the Millender Fund, Robert Millender Memorial Fund. You'll be hearing more about that, all of you. But again, this is a proud day for our city. I look forward to cutting the ribbon. I think we ought to all get the hell out of here so they can dig a hole and start building. circles in the suburbs, although it shouldn't. I don't know whether they're young boys or old boys that are pushing it out in the suburb, but they have just as much problem with narcotics as we have. You wouldn't believe it. Maybe it's young girls. I don't know. I wish to give equal time. I am pleased to accept his resignation bill, and I will not go into it any further than that. He is leaving. It's by mutual agreement.
Did he jump or was he pushed?
Well, I guess a mutual agreement might include a little bit of both.
Why are you pleased to accept his resignation?
I am pleased to accept his resignation because I think we need a new direction and some improvements in DOT. I think the situation there is, as you well know, damn near shambles.
Is there anyone in mind for the job here?
Yes, I'll be sending Ron Hewitt from my staff here to take over on a sort of receivership basis to give me a report, a very direct report, of exactly what the problem is and to take active command of that situation. I do not know. I will not know until I've heard his report, but he will be in complete charge immediately.
You said a receiver in the fight?
That's what I said, yes.
What happened under Mr. Potts? He came in with great fanfare.
Well, I have not received the report. All that I can tell you is something that you very well know, is that service is down. There are less buses available on the line than there were before. And I do not attribute necessarily all these problems to Mr. Potts.